Question 1. At Brunson Academy, students form a gaming club to share and play all of their favorite board games: Monopoly, card games, Uno, math games, Battleship, and word games, Scrabble. After having a lot of fun playing these for the entire year, the students in the club started to get bored and wanted a game with more head-to-head competition. The club advisor, Miss Duke, suggested that they make up a new game themselves. The game they created is called ANSI. To play, one player, player A, rolls a die with the numbers 2 and 5 on it. The other player, player B, rolls a die that has 3 and 6 on it. Both players roll, and the person with the lower number has the difference between the two dice taken away from their score. For example, player A rolls a 2, player B rolls a 6. 6 minus 2 is 4. Player A now has -4 points. Players keep rolling, and the game ends when one player gets to -20 points. A. Antonio chose to be player B and roll die with 3s and a 6. During one game, Antonio ended up rolling 46 times. How many times do you think he rolled a 3? B. Since Antonio chose the player B die, Jen had the player A die with 2s and 5s on it. Over the same 46 rolls, she ended up with a 2 on 27 of them. Is this surprising? Why or why not? C. In a separate game, with the same player A die, Jen rolled a 2 15 times. About how many total rolls do you think there were in the game? D. After a really intense game, Jen was victorious over Antonio. Miss Duke felt bad and wanted to give Antonio a chance to win something for the day. She told him, "If you roll a 3, then a 6, I'll buy you lunch." What is the probability that Miss Duke ends up buying Antonio lunch? E. After playing the game for a few months, another member of the gaming club, Phil, conducted a survey to see just how popular ANSI was. He asked all 22 members of the club how much they liked the game from 1 to 5, and found that 86% of them gave it a rating of 5. Phil made a poster promoting ANSI and calling it the most popular game in school. What about Phil's claim is invalid? Question 2. Over a 3-month period, Jen and Antonio both won a total of 28 games. They kept track of how many points they won each game by and put their results in the dot plot below. F. Based on this chart, who is better at ANSI, Antonio or Jen? How do you know? G. Jen and Antonio were both going for their 29th win and were in the middle of a game. When Miss Duke went to check on them, Antonio's score was -18 points, and Jen's score was 15 points. What score is exactly halfway between their two current point totals? H. On a normal 6-sided die, the probability of rolling at least a 1 is 1/6. The probability of rolling at least a 2 is 2/6, and so on. Probability of rolling at least a. Of these fractions, which ones will result in repeating decimals? Which ones will result in terminating decimals? I. Which die gives you a better chance to win for this game? How do you know? Question 3. The students loved playing ANSI so much that they want a new set of dice to play with. How could you design a new set of dice that would make both players want to play? Explain your answer in the space below.